Hey guys, Madison here, back for another Film Friday, and this week I decided to do another classic movie poll. You guys know I have been kind of on a classic movie journey for the last couple of years now. I'm thoroughly enjoying it, and I know this reaction is going to air on Good Friday, and I considered doing another Easter-themed movie, but then I thought I did Ben-Hur at the start of the month, and I really feel like nothing can top that in terms of the perfect Easter movie. So I decided to just let that one stand on its own, let it be, and just do another classic movie poll this week. So I had some heavy hitters. I had some heavy hitters with some of my favorite classic movie actors on the poll, but the winner for this week was, by a surprising margin, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. And I don't know anything about this movie. I saw, like, when I looked it up, it said, like, comedy western, but it didn't look western, so I don't think I'm going to count this, like, as my western of the month. It didn't look westerny, but I could be wrong. I know it stars Jimmy Stewart, who has become one of my absolute faves, but that's all I know. I've heard really great things about this movie. I know it's on the American Film Institute Top 100 Movies of All Time, and yeah, I've heard some really good things about it from people whose opinion I value, so I'm really looking forward to checking it out, but this is very much a blind watch for me. I don't really know what I'm in for, but I've yet to watch a Jimmy Stewart movie that I did not like, so I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you guys enjoy the reactions. So without further ado, guys, let's jump in and let's check out Mr. Smith Goes to Washington.
Senator Samuel Foley, dead, here at St. Vincent.
Oh, no.
Call Jim Taylor. Tell him I'm getting on a plane tonight for home.
What happened to him, I wonder?
Sam Foley's dead. Of all times, Foley had to go and die on us.
Blaming a dead man for leaving at an inopportune time.
I've got to appoint a new senator.
Now, you go in that room and tell Jim Taylor that I'll give them just one more minute.
You go tell Jim Taylor.
It's high time I told Jim Taylor a thing or two.
Uh-oh.
Now, look here, Jim. If you and Joe are going to gab any longer, I'm going ahead and see those committees.
You'll see those committees when we're finished.
Yes, Jim. But hurry, will you?
He goes in there all tough, and then he's like, yes, Jim. Whatever you say, Jim.
We've been quietly buying up all the land around that dam. If we drop it now or even delay it, it'll bring about an investigation.
Oh.
All right, then, Jim. Appoint Miller. If you're sure, he'll take orders.
Don't worry about Miller. He'll take orders.
Political corruption? I'm shocked. Shocked.
Horace Miller.
Horace Miller?
Yeah.
Oh, born stooge. The Honorable Horace Miller.
I don't think they like that.
So, they named their own candidate, eh? Who?
Henry Hill.
Horace Miller goes to the Senate.
I won't send Horace Miller. I won't let you wreck my whole political future.
I gave it to you as a present, and I can grab it back so fast it'll make your head swim.
All the blackmailing.
No doubt my children could make this appointment.
That's easy, Dad. Jefferson Smith.
You ought to be president. I like Jeff Smith. Me too.
Now everybody's been heard from.
Is that Jimmy Stewart's character?
He's the greatest American we got. He can tell you what George Washington said by heart.
Boy stuff. That's the name of Jeff's paper. Everybody reads it. All the kids in the state.
He has a paper.
You're all wet, Pop.
No, sir, you couldn't do better, Dad.
Do better than what?
Sounds like they know what they're talking about.
If you're ever gonna stand up like a man someday and tell Taylor to
That
go to...
settles it.
Heads Hill, tails Miller.
That's no way to make an important decision anyway.
That's good enough for me.
Here we go. Going to pay Mr. Smith a visit.
Is Jefferson Smith at home?
Yes, won't you step in?
Oh my goodness. I was like, where's that band coming from? Oh, it's happening.
When the lightning
You
struck...
didn't ask me.
Happy may have hit on something tremendous here.
Do you really think you can handle this, whatchamacallem?
Recites Lincoln and Jefferson. I think it's all right.
This is not going to go the way they think.
A star-spangled banquet. Wow.
They think they can pull one over on him and he's going to be stupid and naive, and don't think he's going to be so easy to manipulate.
We're gathered here tonight to acclaim and wish Godspeed to Senator Jefferson Smith.
That awkward moment when someone spits on you and you're trying not to show it.
I can't help feeling that there's been a big mistake. I remember Dad used to tell me that Joe Payne was the finest man he ever knew.
So there's some history there.
I can promise you I'll do nothing to disgrace the office of United States Senator.
Do the best friend. Aw, heck, it's a briefcase, Jeff.
Carry your loss when you get to Washington.
Good job, boys. They got him chosen as senator. Wouldn't have happened without him. Oh, he sees how much they look up to him. That's so sweet.
Jeff, you're just like your father, champion of lost causes.
Dad always used to say the only causes worth fighting for were the lost causes.
His last fight, all to defend the right of one small miner who stuck to his claim. That he tried everything, bribery, intimidation. Then,
I found him slumped over his desk.
shot in the back. I was there,
He was murdered?
still with his hat on.
I know. I suppose Mr. Payne, one man by himself, can't get very far, can he?
No.
Washington, huh?
Foreshadowing.
Jeff, this is my daughter Susan and her friend.
Not the new senator.
Oh, he's marvelous.
He's wonderful.
Look, there it is.
The Capitol Dome.
Big as life. Been there a long time now.
He's so overwhelmed by it all, just all wide-eyed.
Where is he? Hey, Senator. I told that cookie to... Come on, let's find him.
Where'd he go?
Payne's waiting at the hotel with newspaper men. Let him know right away.
Sure, I'll hang a light in the belfry. One if by land and two if by sea.
How did he just disappear?
He might want us all to put on short pants and go out hiking. You wouldn't want to miss the exercise.
Every time I think of exercise, I have to lie right down till the feeling leaves me.
Will you hold us a minute for me, please? Here, come back here.
He just wanted to go sightseeing. I've only been to DC twice in my life, but I really enjoyed both trips. I love the Lincoln Memorial. That might be my favorite place there. He probably thinks of his dad in association with Lincoln a lot because of getting shot in the back, being a man fighting for the lost causes.
Secretary to a leader of little squirts.
Would you settle for a husband? You know, my old standing offer.
I don't know, maybe if I saw you once with your hair combed or something. Yes? What do you want?
Office of Jefferson Smith.
No.
Man downstairs.
No!
Lady, that's him. That's who everyone's looking for.
Yeah, they sure must have picked the prize dummy. Say, wait a minute. That wouldn't be Daniel Boone.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Jefferson Smith.
Oh, yes, please. Come right in, Mr. Smith. Right this way.
You are Miss Saunders, aren't you?
Yes, I'm Saunders, and this is Mr. Mord, member of the press.
The dome, the Capitol Dome. There was a bus outside, and I just naturally got aboard.
Most natural thing in the world.
This is my office.
No, you have a private office in there.
Private office, huh?
Uh-huh.
What, in there?
She can't relate to his idealism and excitement. She's been embittered by all her years working for those, what did she call them, squirts or something?
Look at the Capitol Dome. It's all lighted up. Look at it. What's that? What's it?
Oh, movie house.
It's like a puppy. Look, squirrel.
How would your pals like to get in on this?
Hey, I want a scoop. Beat it. That's it. Come on
Jim,
now.
open your eyes.
He's like, I can't. You're blinding me.
You must have one idea you think would be good for the country, haven't you?
I've thought it would be a wonderful idea to have a national boys' camp.
What about some bird calls, Senator? You know any?
Oh no. Oh my goodness. The journalists were just waiting for their opportunity to get silly pictures and quotes.
His first whiff of Washington. Finish this job properly and you get a handsome bonus. Keep Smith away from anything that smacks of politics.
Including Willett Creek Dam?
Including Willett Creek Dam. Now go back to your work.
Touched a nerve there. That's the no-no topic.
Show Senator Smith to his seat.
Yes, sir. Right this way,
Well,
sir.
goodbye.
Oh, wish me luck.
Sure.
Interested to see how this goes. Interested to see how long it takes for him to start ruffling feathers with more than just not keeping up appearances as they would like.
So that's the boy wonder, eh?
I don't know what the Senator's coming to.
See, you got Daniel Boone in all right.
Daniel in the Lion's Den.
Yeah, that's more accurate.
Not a bad desk either. Daniel Webster used to use it.
Where's the press gallery?
Right over there, above the vice president's chair.
I'd like to give you a Boy Ranger button.
Swell.
What's your name?
Richard Jones?
Well, Dick, thanks. This is Daniel Webster's desk. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm. He won't mind.
He's like, how do I sit?
I present the credentials of Honorable Jefferson Smith.
I seek to ascertain if the gentleman is fully aware of the responsibilities. I refer to his astounding and shameless performance for the newspapers. A versatile performance, I grant you.
Here we go.
My colleague was innocent in the matter referred to. He was completely misquoted.
The swearing in of the Senate that designates the order of business. The gentleman will raise his right hand.
They're starting in on him before he's even sworn in.
That you take this obligation freely, so help you God.
I do.
Any friend of Joe's is a friend of mine.
Nothing short of criminal. The country and government agencies are in desperate need of these funds.
Yeah, the press is not your friend. First valuable lesson to learn. Is he just imagining this? Is he actually doing this? Oh my gosh.
That guy Smith's punching everybody he meets. I just got away from him. Oh, Tarzan! Hey, boys, meet Senator Smith.
You act like a man with something on your mind.
Why don't you tell the people the truth for a change?
Oh my gosh.
He'll vote. Sure, just like his colleague tells him to.
You're not a senator. You're an honorary stooge.
Don't let it get you down. 100 years from now, nobody'll know the difference.
I mean, going around and punching all of them is not the solution, obviously, but
I at least ought to try and study
I
some of the
understand his
bills.
frustration.
The bills.
Don't we all?
When the time comes, I'll advise you how to vote. Didn't you say something to the papers about wanting to create a national boys' camp?
How do you do, Senator?
Just on my way to the office.
How are the pigeons?
Oh, they're fine.
And was the letter to your girl?
Oh, no.
How many times is he gonna drop his hat?
I think I'd better go. Good night. Gee, I'm sorry. Oh, good night.
My secondhand embarrassment. That camera shot made it so much more nerve-wracking, just focusing on him, like his hands on his hat. Oh my goodness. I felt for him.
Have you the faintest idea of what it takes to get a bill passed? Committees, small groups of senators have to sift a bill down, look into it, study it, and report to the whole Senate.
They make it almost impossible to get anything done in any reasonable amount of time.
It goes over to the House of Representatives. Your bill has to stand way back there in line, unless the steering committee thinks it's important.
What's that?
Committee of the majority party leaders. Where are we now?
We're over in the house.
Oh, yeah, House. The Senate doesn't like what the House did to the bill. They make more changes.
Shall we start on it right away or order dinner first?
Pardon me?
I said, shall we get started on it right now or...
He's not discouraged yet.
The Capitol Dome. I want to make that come to life. Liberty's too precious a thing to be buried in books. Men should hold it up in front of them every single day of their lives and say, I'm free. And that steering committee or whatever it is, they've got to see it like that. And I know Senator Payne will do all he can to help me because he's a wonderful man, isn't he, Miss Saunders?
Well, I don't know about that.
My dad had the right idea. He used to say to me, have you ever noticed how grateful you are to see daylight again after coming through a long, dark tunnel?
She has hearts in her eyes.
Gosh, I don't know where I'd be in this bill of mine if it wasn't for your help.
Well, I don't know where you are with it.
Oh, yeah, oh, yes. Now, I see.
His enthusiasm is infectious. He's what she's been looking for.
What's your first name?
Why?
Well, everybody calls you just plain Saunders.
That's what I've been wondering.
You've got a first name, haven't you?
Yes, but we just better forget about it.
All right, all right. Oh, picture popped into my mind all of a sudden of a pump without a handle or something. It's all right. Of course, I know what it is. Violet.
No.
Abigail.
No. It's Clarissa.
Clarissa.
Susan's an awfully pretty name, isn't it?
Susan. Susan Payne?
He might be distracted with Susan for a little while, but him and Clarissa, that's in game.
About a quarter of a mile on either side of Willett Creek.
You discussed this with Senator Payne and everything, haven't you?
No, what?
Oh, nothing. A quarter of a mile on either side of Willett Creek.
Uh-oh.
The land to be bought by the contribution of the boys.
That's that land they're buying up where the dam is, isn't it? Oh, goodness.
Don Quixote with Bill will get to his feet in a minute and speak two important words. Willett Creek.
Introduction of new bills and joint resolutions.
Mr. President!
Just calm down just a little bit. Dial it back.
I have a bill to propose, sir. Create a national boys' camp on the land at and adjacent to Willett Creek in Terry Canyon.
Not laughing anymore, are you?
Boys of all creeds, to educate them in American ideals, a healthful life to the growing youth of this great and beautiful land.
Our young senator will make a good orator when his voice stops changing.
Ugh, I was feeling for him with his voice shaking and his nerves. Oh my gosh, I can relate so much. Fear of public speaking. It's real.
Tomorrow, I'm taking him out to see monuments.
That won't work, Jake. This boy's honest, not stupid.
Susan.
My daughter isn't here to carry out assignments like that for anybody.
What do you think Senator Payne thought of it?
Oh, he'd be tickled pink.
Boy, I hope so. All these letters.
Oh, those are only local.
Here's 9 cents. Yours truly, Stinky Moore. I forgot to thank you. Without you, I couldn't have, I mean...
Oh, she's appreciated.
Who? Susan Payne.
Uh-oh.
I'm elected to snatch Mr. Jefferson Smith from the Senate tomorrow.
Miss Payne.
Susan Payne? She want to talk to me?
Yeah.
Here comes the wedge between the two potential lovers.
Holy mackerel. Hello? Oh, hello, Miss Payne. How are you?
There goes the hat again.
What? Want to escort you? Yes. She wants me to go to a reception for a princess.
Get your hat, Senator. We have a lot of shopping to do between now and tomorrow.
Don't sweat it, Clarissa.
She may be the next first lady of the land.
Imagine reading My Day by Susan Payne in the neck.
Pain in the neck. That was great.
Forget it. What's it to you?
Nothing.
Okay, then stop worrying. I told you the dopes are going to inherit the earth anyway.
Dude, can't you tell that she's jealous?
I'm squeamish. See, that's what I am. I don't have to take it. I won't be party to no murder. I'm going to quit. I'm through.
Again? It's a good idea.
She keeps saying she's gonna quit, and then she never does.
Let's get married.
It's a good idea.
Maybe we could clear out of this town. Prairie grass, the sun moving against the cattle.
Do we have to?
No, I can't think of anything more sappy.
Okay. We're getting married.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Don't do it, Saunders. He's not the one for you.
I want to get out of there right now, Diz. Right now. Bonus or no bonus. I'm clearing out of that office.
Don't, Saunders. Jeff needs you.
Saunders?
She said, thank you, Mr. Smith. You nearly fell through the floor. Horseradish. This is no place for you. You're halfway decent. Meet the man I'm going to marry. A dam going up where you think your camp's going to be. You weren't supposed to hear. That's why that ritzy dame took you in tow. That's why they sent you here in the first place. Try and mess up Mr. Taylor's little graft. Go home. Don't stay around here making people feel sorry for you.
She just threw so much at him.
We're going to get married.
Oh, yeah.
That is not the reason to get married, Saunders. Just because you're desperate. Jeff is so confused and overwhelmed right now. He's
there
like,
are 100 other places in the state that really need the water. Who's Taylor? I've been told that this whole thing is his idea to get graft.
Get me Mr. James Taylor, Jackson City.
oh no.
Manna from heaven. Didn't even know how to tell the time of day, huh?
Smith is poking the bear.
Let him in, Shake.
You can count me out.
Good morning, Senator.
This boy's different. He's honest. Besides, he thinks the world of me. We can't do this to him.
Well, what do you want me to do?
Payne feeling guilty. His conscience is getting to him.
I picked you out of a fly-specked hole in the wall and blew you up to look like a senator. Maybe we can fix it so you and the boy Ranger can go home together.
Jim, now you don't have to.
Oh, it's all right.
Threatening to take him down, too, if he tries to help him.
Explain to Mr. Smith about Willard Dam. And if he can't find enough facts, give him a couple of good ones.
I don't want to see you get too rough on him.
You had me scared there for a minute. I'll call you as soon as I get through with Smith.
Okay.
Payne, you're a disappointment. Letting the blackmail and the coercion get to you.
Now, what do you like? Business? If you like business, you can pick any job in the state or politics. If you like being a senator, there's no reason why you can't come back to that Senate.
Bribes.
Now, you take the boys here, or Joe Payne. They take my advice.
You tell these men and Senator Payne what to do?
Joe Payne has been taking my advice for the past 20 years.
You're a liar.
He's not going to take that well. He's kind of been hero worshipping Payne all this time, and now he's finding out the not so pleasant truth.
He said he'd been telling you what to do for 20 years. I call him a liar.
I've served our state well, haven't I? I've had to play ball. That's how states and empires have been built since time began. Don't you understand?
Oof.
I don't want to see you get hurt. For your own sake, Jeff, and for the sake of my friendship with your father, please, don't say a word.
Wow.
Owing to the urgency
That was a
of the
look of
efficiency bill,
disgust on Jeff's face, if I ever saw one. Disgust and disappointment.
an appropriation foundation for diverting and impounding the headwaters of Willett Creek?
Mr. President, this dam on Willett Creek is nothing but...
President,
Does Senator Smith wish to yield?
Oh, yes, sir.
You may proceed, Senator.
I consider Senator Smith unworthy to address this body.
Oh my goodness. He is going full on traitor.
There's something going on inside. Come on, hurry.
I have conclusive evidence to prove that my colleague owns the very land described in his bill.
Huh?
He bought it the day following his appointment to the Senate and is holding it, using this body in his privileged office for his own personal profit.
You liar. That's what your friends are doing. That's what they do. They accuse you of what they're doing.
I offer a resolution as to the fitness of my colleague to continue to sit in this chamber.
Mr. President,
Senator Payne accuses Senator Smith of introducing a boys' camp bill for his own profit.
Unbelievable.
I consulted at once with the head of the Department of Records, Mr. Arthur Kim.
Mr. Kim, do you remember recording such a deed?
yes.
They're all a bunch of liars. This is too real, y'all. This is too real. I'm getting angry.
I deeded him the land, and he gave me a contract guaranteeing me half what he got if he made the sale. The whole thing sounded fishy at the time.
He's like in shock. The extent of this.
Signed and delivered.
I never signed any such contract.
It is definitely in Jefferson Smith's own handwriting.
I'd say the name has been forged. This is not a forgery.
This is a very painful duty for me. I pointed out that a dam was already going up on the very site he'd chosen for his camp.
No, you didn't. You tried to hide it from him.
I was amazed at his violent reactions. I couldn't understand it until the evidence came to me that he owned those very 200 acres. And, as you have heard, had carefully laid plans.
Jeff, I'm so sorry.
Out of the nickels and dimes scraped together by the boys of this country.
Look at that. That is the face of a man whose heart is breaking before your very eyes.
My sense of duty told me that his expulsion from the Senate was the only possible answer.
The committee is ready to hear you now, Senator Smith.
Yeah, I mean, why waste your time? They're all bought and paid for.
That ranger never knew what struck him when Jim Taylor opened up on him.
Well, which one of you girls wants this?
You should be ashamed of yourself, Payne. Yeah, he's like, they don't care about the people, they just care about themselves. Themselves and their own ill-gotten gains. Boy, that's a contrasting scene to the beginning of the movie.
Hello.
Hello, Saunders. Your husband, how's he?
We're not married. When you get home, what are you going to tell those kids?
I'll tell them the truth.
You can't quit now. They aren't all Taylors and Paynes in Washington. It's a 40-foot dive into a tub of water, but I think you can do it.
You tell him, Saunders.
Clarissa, where can we get a drink?
Now you're talking. Come on over to my place.
Gosh, I'm crying, guys. That was so good. Oh my goodness. I love how he inspired her with his genuine decentness and his hope, and now she's inspiring him and lighting the fire under him to keep going. I love it.
Mr. Smith!
There!
Pray, Diz.
Did you have anything to do with bringing that guy in here? Are you crazy? Resolved that Jefferson Smith be expelled from his seat in the Senate. I move for the immediate adoption of the resolution.
Mr. President, the senator can have nothing to say at this time. That would not be either in bad grace.
The man has the right to speak.
Let him speak!
The chair recognizes Senator Smith.
Thank you, sir. Well, I guess the gentlemen are in a pretty tall hurry to get me out of here.
President, will the senator yield?
The senator yields.
No, sir, I'm afraid not. I yielded the floor once before, if you can remember, and I was practically never heard of again.
Yeah.
And we might as well all get together on this yielding business right off the bat now.
Will he yield for a question?
For a question, all right.
Has he one scrap of evidence to add now?
I have no defense against forged papers.
Committee ruled otherwise. The gentleman stands guilty, as charged.
Don't even yield to a question, Jeff. Just keep going. Keep speaking.
A man even powerful enough to control Congressman, Mr. James Taylor, came down here and offered me a seat in this Senate for the next 20 years if I voted for a dam.
He has imputed to me conduct unworthy a senator, and I demand that he be made to yield the floor.
Sit down, Payne.
One of the congressmen in that room.
I was in that room. I accuse this man. He is deliberately trying to plant damaging impressions of my conduct. I'll tell you why we were in that room.
Well, what have you been doing to him,
A respected
Payne?
citizen of our state had brought with him the evidence against this man, and we were urging him to resign.
Mr. President, have I the
There
floor?
was only one answer to a man like him. The truth, which I rose and gave to this body.
Excuse me, sir. It is not your turn to speak.
I refuse to stay here and listen to him any longer.
I want a chance to talk. I want this Senate's promise that I will not be expelled and that the deficiency bill will not be passed.
Will the Senator yield?
For a question.
Are we going to keep relief from the country?
The people of my state need permanent relief from crooked men riding their backs.
Mr. President,
Yeah.
I, for one, will follow the Senator's example and refuse to remain in this chamber as long as that man holds the floor.
Order, gentlemen.
Bunch of crooks, the lot of you.
Wild horses aren't going to drag me off this floor until those people have heard everything I've got to say, even if it takes all winter.
There goes the press. Oh, we've got a story, guys.
I call the chair's attention to Rule 5, Section 3. A majority of the senators present may direct the Sergeant-at-Arms to request and, if necessary, compel the attendance of the absent senators.
Way to go, Saunders. Helping navigate him through this.
Ring the call to quorum. Call to quorum.
No hurry, Mr. President. I got plenty of time.
Yeah, drag your sorry butts back in here.
A filibuster. This is the miracle I wanted. What a yarn. I hit him from the floor with everything I knew. I haven't got the stomach for it anymore.
I want you to keep everything that Smith says, or any other pro-Smith stuff coming from Washington, out of all of our newspapers, do you understand?
This guy.
And buy up every minute you can get of every 2-watt radio station in the state.
I've seen filibustering, but this can't go on. It's ridiculous.
And that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of...
Jeff, you're a good man. Keep going.
Democracy's finest show, the filibuster, can hold it and talk as long as he can stand on his feet.
It is the right of the people to alter or abolish. How am I doing?
We've got to keep hammering at this man until we smash him.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised some of these senators were boys once. And that's why it seemed like a pretty good idea to me to get boys out of crowded cities and build their bodies and minds for man-sized job, because those boys are going to be behind these desks some of these days.
Yep.
Getting boys from all over the country, getting them together. Let them find out what makes different people tick the way they do.
Teaching boys to be men.
If you think I'm going back there and tell those boys all this stuff I've been telling you about this land you live in is a lot of hooey. This isn't your country. It belongs to a lot of James Taylors. Anybody here that thinks I'm going to do that, they got another thing coming. Well, that's all right. I just wanted to find out whether you still had faces.
He gets better the longer he goes, the more delirious he gets.
I'm sorry, gentlemen. I know I'm being disrespectful to this honorable body. I know that.
They're not honorable.
Would he permit a motion to recess until the morning, at which time he may be better able to continue with his profound babblings?
No.
He won't get to continue if he stops.
Ask him.
Mr. President, what happens to me in the morning?
If the Senator permits this motion for recess, he won't have the floor in the morning.
Uh-huh. As I was saying, gentlemen.
Man, thank goodness for Clarissa.
What do you got, Dave?
Miss Saunders.
The behind-the-scenes MVP. Oh. That's so good.
Is the senator yielding the floor?
Oh, no. Hey, I feel fine.
He's just getting started.
The Constitution of the United States. We, the people of the United States...
Not one word of what he's saying is being printed in that state.
Oh, no, Dave.
Taylor has practically every paper in the state lined up.
Freedom of the press.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I've got an idea. Come on. Jeff has a paper there, boy stuff, right? Can you print it up and spread 1 billion copies of it? Swell. Get ready to take it down, will you, Mrs. Smith?
There you go, Saunders. There you go.
All right, here we go. Jeff tells truth. Shows up Taylor. Will it damn is a fraud to line the pockets of the Taylor machine?
Here's your front page editorial. Wait a minute.
Go, go, go. Come on, kid. Come on, kids. You can do it. Get the truth out there. And they're off. Every bicycle and wagon.
Try Jeff Smith.
must have circlers. Get the boys out. Kill him.
Stop, fellas. Come on, boys. Get these papers out of here.
You can't do that. Yes. That's just typical, isn't it? Yeah, no one's blowing hoses on their parade, are they?
Children hurt all over the city. Tell Jeff to stop.
Yes. Yes, all right.
Are you for real? Going after kids? Oh my goodness.
Great principles don't get lost once they come to light. They're right here. You just have to see them again.
Mr. President, will the senator yield for a question?
Yes, I'll yield for a question.
He is speaking to the people of his state. Would the gentleman be interested in knowing what those people have to say?
Yes, sir, you bet I will.
You may proceed, Senator.
Page boy.
That's just not even fair, because it's their response to the lies about Jeff. If they knew the truth.
Telegrams. 50,000 of them. Demanding that he yield this floor.
This is so sad, y'all.
Stop, Jeff, stop!
When you fight that hard for people who aren't even grateful.
You know that you fight for the lost causes harder than for any others. You think I'm licked? Well, I'm not licked. And I'm gonna stay right here and fight for this lost cause. And the Taylors and all their armies come marching into this place. Somebody will listen to me.
He's okay, just fainted.
I'm not fit to be a senator! I'm not fit to live! Every word that boy said is the truth!
Oh my goodness.
I'm not fit for office! I'm not fit for any place of honor or trust!
Oh my goodness. The chairman's just like, where's my popcorn? Oh my goodness, y'all. I am like exhausted after watching that. That last sequence, just, I don't even know. It was bigger than a sequence. That whole just chain of events with him, with Jeff holding the floor and that filibuster. It was like I was getting physically and emotionally drained and exhausted with him watching that. Jimmy Stewart did a fantastic job in this movie. Like, oh my gosh, I've already seen him in some pretty incredible roles, but that was top notch. The level of exhaustion he portrayed there, and just like slightly unhinged, but the more unhinged he got, it was like more just razor sharp focus and just appealing to the goodness in people, and one man's desperate pursuit of justice, refusing to give up. It's like, you can turn the whole world against me, you can even turn the people of my state against me, but you can't kill the truth. Basically, like, you can't kill the principles, the ideas that this country was founded upon. There will always be someone who will listen, someone who will believe. You can't snuff it out. It's impossible. It was a great message of hope in this movie, which was surprisingly relevant and still extremely powerful today. It was a great reminder that humanity has not changed. Mankind has not changed. It's all human nature at its core has always been the same. There's always been corruption. There's always been liars, greedy people making backroom deals, backstabbing innocent people who are trying to do the right thing, killing people who get in their way. All of those things have always been around, have always been true, and they continue today. And I think that's a good reminder, because we get caught up in our own time, the problems of our day, and we say things are worse now than they ever have been. And in some ways, I guess that's true. But in other ways, I feel like most generations have probably thought that. Like, times have never been worse. We've never had a crisis as big as this one. But it's kind of just the way the world goes round, you know? It's like history repeats itself. There have always been giant crises, and there have always been disasters and genocides and massive just moral issues on the table. And I think that this movie was a great representation of, like, there's always going to be bad people in the world, and there's always going to be good people in the world. And they're always going to be clashing. And by saying good people, I don't mean people that are inherently good. We all have a sinful nature inside of us, but there are people fighting for the right causes, people who strive to do the right thing, who actually care about helping other people, not just their own selfish gain. That's what I mean by good people. I mean people like Jefferson Smith, who are not swayed by the mob, the crowd, the people who try to peer pressure them, bribe them, coerce them. And man, the parallels to politics today and the corruption there, and how it's almost impossible, these days, to find a politician in American politics that genuinely cares about and is looking out for the best interests of the American people. Very, very hard to find that these days. And the reason for that is how just deeply rooted in the corruption is, and the blackmail that goes on, and the threats, and the just paying people off, and the lies, and it's just a giant mess. And you can start to wonder, like this movie was pondering the question of, well, do we just give up? Do we just give up and go home? Do we quit? And there's a great quote by Edmund Burke where he said, "All that is necessary for the triumph of evil is that good men do nothing." Evil people want you to believe that there's no hope. They want you to believe that they have won, and they want you to give up and go home. And it can be hard not to feel that way sometimes, that like all is lost. This is a lost cause. What's the point in fighting for it? It's already over. There's no fight to be had. And this movie was a great message, a great reminder of the impact that one man can have, the impact that one person can have who just refuses to quit and just keeps going and keeps speaking the truth, even when others are dealing in lies about him. There's a great speech by Theodore Roosevelt about the man in the arena, and that is my favorite speech of all time. It's incredible. Go listen to that. Go read that if you haven't. And the poem If by Rudyard Kipling. Very applicable to this movie and the concept of being lied about but not dealing in lies. Refusing to compromise and lower yourself to the level of the enemies around you who are trying to drag you down, lying about you and trying to destroy you. Yeah, go look up that poem by Rudyard Kipling, that speech from Theodore Roosevelt. Powerful, powerful stuff. They summed it up way better than I could. But yeah, there were several parts in this movie where it was just so relevant and so true, even today, that I just had tears in my eyes throughout a lot of this movie. Very important to never downplay, underestimate what one person can do, especially a group of people working together. Never assume, never let anyone make you believe that your actions, how you live, that it doesn't matter. You can make an impact, and even if you don't get your bill passed, or people still believe lies about you, or maybe you didn't make the change on the level that you wanted to create change, try it on a local level. Or if you can't even do that, try it on a personal level. Who are the people in your life that you can have a positive influence on? I mean, yeah, just never underestimate the impact that you can have. And this was a beautiful movie about one guy who had no involvement in politics. He admired historical figures like Lincoln and Washington, and he knew history, but he was not a politician. He was not running in those circles. He wasn't part of that whole nasty swamp. He came from outside, and because of that, he had this amazing untainted character, just this wide-eyed naivete and this genuine desire to do good to his fellow man and to take care of the people of his state, which made him more qualified than all of the other guys who had been in it for 10, 20 years just because they had lost sight of what their job was as senators. They had completely lost sight of that, and all they thought about was their own selfish gain. So I could clearly talk about this for a while. I could go on and on about this, but this was a great movie. Really, really powerful performance by Jimmy Stewart. Also, I believe her name was Jean Arthur. I think this was my introduction to her. I don't believe I've seen her in something else already, but I could be wrong. Sometimes I forget. But she was fantastic. She was very much like the backbone of this movie. She wasn't in the background, but she was in the Senate, like kind of up there directing him from afar, but she was very much the one who convinced Jeff to keep going when he was going to give up and go home. Like her speech basically to him about the importance of him not quitting, doing what he could for those kids. That was one of the scenes that just brought tears to my eyes. She was incredible. She was so likable, and I love how he inspired her, made her hope again when she started the film so like bitter and just like, I want out of here. All these people are crap, you know? She was tired of it. Tired of the disingenuous people in Washington, and then someone genuine finally showed up and she believed again and wanted to do everything she could to help him, and their friendship was wonderful. And then like the way she confessed that she loved him, just sending that little note down there, I thought was great. I love understated moments like that are so impactful. That was fantastic. All around great movie, really powerful movie, and not at all Western. When I Googled it just to check the runtime and everything, it said comedy Western. And I was like, huh. You know, there were a couple preview images and I was like, that looks rather political. That doesn't look Western. And that movie could not have been any less Western. So Google failed, but that is okay because I wasn't planning for this to be my Western of the month anyway. So it all worked out. But wow, yeah, guys, just a really powerful, relevant watch for today, even though this came out in 1939. I think the best stories remain relevant for forever because they are just stories about human nature and the problems we face as humans interacting with our fellow humans and the trials we face and the principles and the concepts that are meaningful. Yeah, this was a fantastic movie. So before I ramble on any longer, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this reaction. Full length in the description below. If you want to watch another video, click here or here. If you're new here, you've never seen one of my videos before, you might not know that I'm also an author and an artist. So check out my book on Amazon, Gone Outlaw, if you like Westerns, and follow me on Instagram at Madison K. Thames if you want to follow my art journey. I post my art there, share behind the scenes. It's a really fun time over there on Instagram. Follow me there. I'm on Facebook. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed and subscribe if you haven't. And I will see you guys next week for another Film Friday. Bye, guys.